Welcome to another episode of Mugshots and Coffee, and I have a special guest, which I have to disclose is my son-in-law, Felipe Diaz, and this is kind of special because, hell, I don't know you very well, right? I've been a pretty sad father-in-law as far as engagement. So
he's a busy guy, so I understand.
Yeah, right. Well, he's been graduating from college, so he's been even busier lately. So this will be interesting. We're going to get to know each other, and hopefully you'll learn some good things between the two of us. But Felipe, you probably have picked up that I grew up without a dad, right? I mean, I had a stepdad who was undercover narcotics agent, and my step-grandfather was a Marine drill instructor, so the parenting style in my household was pretty sad, right? So when I try to figure out how to be the senior in my part of the family, I don't know what to do, right? I don't even know what to call on. Give me some advice from a young man's perspective. What do guys your age want from older men like me, especially if we have a role to play?
Definitely when it comes, I mean, we definitely need that wisdom. It's great to have heard about something before making the mistake yourself. It really saves you time and heartache. Like, definitely hearing something like from your own experience that I can avoid. They say like smart people are the ones that read about it. They don't make the mistake themselves. So it's definitely nice to get some exposure from someone that's already gone through it. I mean, as human beings, like, we pretty much do like the same stuff. Like, we go through the same cycle, I guess. We youth, adulthood, and we gotta take on responsibilities. And it's pretty much stayed the same over the, I don't know, I guess our generations. We still have to take care of responsibilities.
In the Iliad, there's a scene in there, or Iliad and the Odyssey. It was Odyssey, sorry. Homer's Odyssey. Bunch of guys standing on a pier with the Mediterranean in front of them. And they both have sleek fishing boats. And the dialogue is they're bitching over and moaning over whose is the faster, right, of the two blacks racing boats, right? Guys haven't changed. We really have the same kind of need for certainty and uncertainty, and to have meaning and purpose and contribution.
Yeah, basically, yeah, exactly. We have the same yearning to, you know.
You and I earlier, we talked about the old farts. I got on the internet when it was born. I mean, Al Gore invented it, and then, you know, I got to build 30-something thousand websites. So, what in the hell is social media like, having grown up? It was just always there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't always there, but I definitely remember in high school when it just came out, MySpace, and it was like, oh, cool. Like, I don't have to ask my parents' permission to go to my friends' places that live a couple blocks or a couple streets away from me. I can just log in and keep up with them and say, hey. And it was pretty neat in the beginning, but then I could see...
So it was a convenience.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I could keep up with my friends. Hey, let's plan stuff out. Like, if we didn't have a phone then, we could just log on the PC and just talk to our buddies. I mean, I guess it...
But what's happened? In the last 3 or 4 years, it seems like there's been such a shift where whatever Starbucks I go to work at all, I get every head in there's down, right? Why? What's the deal with that?
It's that addiction. It's that addiction of being connected. I mean, it definitely changes your brain to, like, constantly be receiving input, like approval, like as in form of likes, or however you receive it in a social media. You definitely receive how would I say it?
There's an oxytocin shoot in the brain, right? When you anticipate some kind of a social response.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not something that you would get at home. Like, if you didn't have it and you were at home, you don't get that input from anywhere. It's just at the...
So it is really an artificial addiction. Because,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, your family doesn't pat you on the back. They're like, no, go clean the dog poo out from behind the garage. What are you doing? Get your homework done.
Yeah, no, people get a lot of like self-gratification out of social media when they're really not doing anything, and they're getting that dopamine release, and they're just stuck at home, not really doing anything, but they get the illusion that something is happening, I guess.
Social media platforms change frequently. I mean, MySpace, right? Facebook, LinkedIn became quite popular. Then it became what, Instagram, and
Snapchat.
Yeah. Is that hard to keep up with? Is that sort of like the latest fad? Oh, everyone run over here. Oh, everyone run over there.
Honestly, I don't know. It just happened. I guess the features were cool on Snapchat. First we had Instagram. It was neat to share pictures, but then you had Snapchat. I guess its advantage was that you could send messages to people and they would disappear after they closed the conversation. But nothing ever goes away in the internet. It's there forever for everybody to see in the future. So yeah, so you were telling me like your background, that your parents were very strict. I sort of feel that I come from a similar background too. Like I didn't have my...
You weren't born in America.
No, well, I was born in Santiago, Chile. In Chile, they're very Catholic and very religious, so divorce wasn't an option until the 90s, so you couldn't legally do it. So, I guess my parents were married, they had me, and then they had my little brother, and just as soon as they had him, they got a divorce. So, I was raised mostly, I wouldn't say until I was the age of 7, from 3 to 7 or 8 years old, by my grandma. So I didn't really have that much of a father figure. I did have it, but my mom and dad lived in different cities, so I seldom saw my dad, just in special occasions. He was in the military, going to officer school, and he was very busy himself. So what I saw as a father figure, it was either my uncles or my grandpa had died, so I was living with my grandma at the time. And my grandma was super strict. Like, we always had to have the do errands, clean the place, vacuum. So we had a lot of discipline come from her. And I guess my father figure, it was her talking about my grandpa. My grandfather was, my father figure was that illusion that my grandma made, or my dad and my mom, that they would tell me of him, how he would act. So that I would try to emulate.
Oh, so they sort of made up...
They imprinted him like what he was, and that's what I wanted to be. That was who I wanted to be. Like, cause just my grandma loved him so much. She talked about him all the time. That's who I wanted to be. I wanted to follow his steps. Like at school, like if I saw there was something going on in my country, like a lot of rain and floods happen, it's like, oh, let's start from my group. Let's start collecting food for the Red Cross. Like, I got to do those things when I was little, and I guess it was just for me trying to emulate that, that
Did
void.
you get to spend time with him, or was it just
very little?
The stories that...
I just remember being on his well, it was on his deathbed, pretty much. The memories that I have, the very little of him, remember him being in bed. But yeah, I didn't have much besides that. I didn't have a father figure until later on in life, I think, until I was like 9 or 10, where my parents got back together. But even then, he was like an absentee father, because he was in the military. He was working the entire week, and maybe he saw us on the weekends. But the weekends, he would always use that time for family time. We'd go camping every weekend. We'd never stay home, and that was pretty neat later on. But
when did you come to the U.S.?
When I was 12.
And you came with your parents? Or?
Yeah, well, with my parents. My dad came to the U.S. first to probe. It was what city we were going to live in. He tried New York, Florida, and then we ended up settling for San Antonio, because that's where my aunt lived, and at least we had some family here. So.
You and I share a bit of a curiosity, I guess. I won't call it passion, but at least a good curiosity over technology and your interest and degree in finance and money and crypto, cyber, all that kind of cool stuff that's coming out. Where did that come from? Where did you get that desire to see and manipulate with numbers and future stuff?
I don't know. I always liked science fiction. Just growing up, oh my god, just grew up with Star Wars, spaceships. I was like, technology is the future, that's what's gonna drive.
And Halloween, did you have Star Wars Trooper costumes for Halloween and stuff like that? Or?
No, I didn't, but I was very much into reading about the Jedi and the mythological aspect of the Jedi and how they lived. I mean, I like their philosophy, but I like everything, the Empire and all the machines and technology built around it too.
So, you're graduating now?
Mm-hmm.
Pain in the ass? Was it hard? I mean, school is...
Oh yeah, I mean, it can be hard if you want it to be hard and rigorous. Definitely, you can take a lot of class and just like do the bare minimum and get a degree, but that's not the way I like it. I took a lot of interesting courses that were pretty rigorous, especially in my upper division finance courses that made me pretty uncomfortable. It really made me understand that I know nothing. The more I understand, it's just like I get to that level of comprehension that there's so much more to understand about every single subject. It's ridiculous.
So now you're charting your way forward. Do you have any ideas where you and Scotiana are gonna go
in the future? Yeah, I mean, I want to do corporate finance. I love to do that. I'd love to work within tech or a tech company. I love NVIDIA. I love AMD. I love what they're doing with AI, machine learning. It's just going to drive the future, and it's going to take us to a better place. So that would be the industries that I'd like to go to.
You're married to Scotiana, my wife's daughter. Holy shit. We were laughing about this a little earlier because Angelina's brought up in Germany and has that futurist command. Scotiana's got strong character.
Oh yeah.
Any points of view or any recommendations you'd make for other students who are married?
I mean,
go to the gym a lot. I mean,
just obviously find a partner that's not gonna bullshit you. Someone that's gonna tell you straight if you're messing up. You need that feedback loop mechanism. A lot of people don't have that higher level of introspection where they can go, I know where I'm messing up. Sometimes you need that outside stimuli or input, especially in the form of a wife. It comes as a little bit of nagging, but it's not, because she has her best intention in mind, as always, because she loves me. But yeah, get someone that's gonna tell it to you straight, and it'll save you a lot of trouble, for sure.
You don't look very fat. You don't look like school's done you in. What do you do to stay fit and stay in shape?
I like biking a lot. I like mountain biking. I like going to the gym every day. I think it pays dividends in the future. At least with my level of energy, I'm high energy. I like to be moving all the time and be doing something. I definitely like staying healthy and keeping up with nutrition, especially with Scotiana, who's a health nut.
There are a bunch of times when I have stepped on stuff that I wish my son would never do that, because there's no guidance, no warning, no label on don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
What are a few things that you wish that men in your life?
Some things that I realized earlier in life, it's like, and I've heard it from multiple people, it's that you're the mean or the average or your friends or who you associate with. So I like to think about, like, in the path of least resistance. It's just easier if your group is operating at a higher level. It's easier for you to keep at that higher level because you're being pushed. You're constantly comparing yourself to others and your relative position to your group or your tribe around you.
A peloton, right? The cycling group where you rotate leadership, but the whole group of you can pull off pull a breakaway from the rest of them. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I try to associate with, like, people that are like-minded, that are driven, that they have, I would just say, the inspiration or the motivation to, do things that are remarkable, at least that I find remarkable what they do. So yeah, I try to stay with a good couple of friends, not to associate with people who are like lowlifes, not to say it that way, but it keeps you out of trouble, definitely, if your circle of influence or your social sphere is in a good standing, I guess.
Attracted. Earlier we talked about an analogy between the financial industry, where if you focus too much on little trends, that you can really miss out on the overall big picture, and you related that to how social and regular news media can really mess up your head.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're calculating beta on a regular stock, just to see how risky it is as an investment, normally teachers tell you not to look at the daily returns because there's too much noise, there's too much volatility, people can overreact and whatnot, and they tell you to take a weekly or monthly returns just so you don't get too much noise, because it's really going to mess up your perspective or your reality or whatever you're trying to calculate. So think about the big picture, don't look at the everyday stuff. People will overreact when in fact nothing's changed, it's the same thing, the world's not going to end. So don't pay too much attention to the little stuff and the noise. Another, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that two really good points. One is your peers, and those you surround yourself with. And then second, don't be nano-focused, right? Try to keep the perspective of the bigger one, and then you had a third, which was...
Oh yeah, definitely network. I used to be, I'm very of a, how would you say it, an introvert myself. So I was very scared of reaching out and making friends. At some point, it did click in college where I figured out, like, you have to come out of your shell and you have to start socializing. And just being in the world, navigating through adulthood, you get to realize that a lot of times it comes down to who you know, like who you network with, like people and your friends and family and those who you know will take you farther than money ever will. Like, it's crazy how influence works.
Yeah. So you put all three of those together, mapping your way through school, being able to lay out, here's the future that I want, how do I build a peer support group around me to keep that bigger picture in mind, right? And not be distracted by all the noise of the... Sounds like a pretty good philosophy to build a life on, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has to do with life. Life is about growth. It's getting out of your comfort zone. If you're not growing, you're stagnating, and you're likely going to die. There's nothing good that comes out of stagnation. So you have to get out of your comfort zone, definitely.
You're telling me about stereotyping millennials, but your experience is quite different.
Oh yeah, definitely. Where people would categorize us as lazy or unmotivated, from what I see from my friends and my peers, it's a completely different picture. Like, all I see is just a bunch of people with a lot of anxiety, because we come to the realization, because we're so connected, that we're no longer competing with those in our tribe that are in the same city. We're competing with people around the world with the same access to information as we do, and it's very, very scary. With just that magnitude, we're just not bound by those we're not constrained by those bounds anymore. Or
sure. In the tech industry, we have an acronym. It's TOMS, threat of missing stuff. Mm-hmm. Right? We're constantly coding, knowing everyone's passing this on the freeway. It's like a video game on who's in the latest platform or language or job opportunity.
It's called FOMO here. It's fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
So you think that's, at least amongst the students that you're with, that's a big deal. How would guys, older guys, be able to give input to that or help you navigate any of that?
I mean, I think there's sort of things that are universal when it comes to humans. So wherever you guys can give us wisdom, where it is a universal thing, please follow me. Do. Sometimes we can get lost just looking at this very narrow view of what we're trying to look into. And we get lost in there, and I guess we lose track.
Yeah. So speaking about things that we've learned about humans, even though the platforms and the tech is constantly changing, there's a human behind that. And now for me, AI is emerging, and we're building, right? Transformation, the whole transhuman experience is coming. So with that thought, I want to invite you to the conversation in private at 360 Men. You can subscribe, join us, and ask questions. So if you're a senior, an old guy, and you would like to have a conversation, make your experiences available, some of your stories that would be passed on, leaving a legacy, join us in a conversation at 360men.net.
If you guys have any additional questions, anything that's like bugging you lately, please do reach out. They have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Am I missing anything else?
Twitter
as well.
Google+.
Hey, any questions that you have, please do reach out. There's a great ton of knowledge that can be shared and tons to learn from. So we don't make the same.
Yeah, don't step in the same doo-doo.
Exactly.